a really special show, and what I'm going to do today is compare some of the printable fabrics that are on the market. And as you can see, there is not a shortage of printable fabrics on the market. There are others that I don't have here, but these are the ones that I have actually tried and I can give my opinion about. Now, if you head over to thingscrafty.com, I have an entire write-up of these, so I've broken everything down by how they work and the brand's websites will be all on the website as well. I've included the price of these so you can compare that as well. So there's a lot of different factors, and first I'll start off with saying that almost all of these printed very similar. There was a few that, actually there was one that printed the brightest, and there was one that printed the least brightest, and I will tell you about those as we go along. And most of them come in the size 8.5 by 11, which is standard for an inkjet printer. And all of these that you see here are printable on an inkjet printer. So that's really nice, and that's basically what everybody has in their home is an inkjet printer, so it makes it very, very easy. And if you don't have one, you can go to the library or to one of the office supplies and they can print them for you. One of the things you need to consider is that you must print these all by sticking one sheet of the paper into your printer. So you can't stick like a whole handful into your printer. You have to put only that sheet. So you should take all your paper out of your printer and just include the one sheet that you're going to print on. This ensures that you don't waste any, that your printer doesn't grab other sheets. So that's a factor. And one of the things you have to realize with your printer, and you could do a test on your printer to find out, is which way the printer grabs the paper. So if it's grabbing it, pulling it in and printing on the bottom side of it, you have to know that. So you can just write a little X or whatever on a piece of regular copy paper and you'll see which side it actually prints on, so you know how to load it into your printer. So those are all factors. So as you can see, it comes in different sizes as well. It also comes in these small sizes, and each brand has their own different sizes. So some of the brands have bigger sizes, some have littler sizes, and some have just the 8.5 by 11. So depending on what your project is, you have to factor that in. Now, I can tell you one thing. I did have a problem trying to put the smaller ones into my printer. I know it does print smaller, but I have a hard time with it. So you might want to try like a regular piece of paper before you go sticking these in, because you don't want to ruin them. And so that's about it to get you started. So let me clear this off and I'll come back and I'll go through them one by one. So I want to start off with the Electric Quilt Company, and you can find them at electricquilt.com. And this is a sample pack that they sent, and it includes the lawn cotton, the satin cotton, and the regular cotton. The lawn cotton I found to be the thinnest of all of them. Then there was the regular, and then the thickest was the satin cotton. That's what I found with it. So when I say thickest, I mean the actual, paper was thicker. So all of these pretty much come with a backing on it. Some of them you have to peel off the backing, depending on the brand or whatever, and they give you instructions with it. So some you have to peel off the back, some are iron on, some are sew on, some are color fast, some are not. So you have to read all the instructions, and I've broken that down on the website as well, so you'll know. But the sample pack is a really great way to get a sample and try it out and see which you like the best. So these are some just ATCs that will become ATCs, or different things that I might use, and I printed these off of Etsy. I think I bought these on Etsy. These they were just downloadable projects, or downloadable PDFs that I could use, and you can see that it's beautifully bright. The Electric Quilt Companies are all printed very bright, which was really nice. So if you're looking for a real bright image, you will definitely get it with this brand. So what I did was I printed the same designs on all of the different papers by the different brands, so that you could see that how they printed. Now, what I did find was pretty much almost every brand printed nice and bright, but there was another brand called Fabric, which I want to share with you, and this brand printed the absolute brightest out of all of them. But the difference is that the other ones were cotton fabric, or most of them were, I would say, but this is polyester. So let me give you, and let's see if you can see this difference on the camera. But the fabric, which is this one, is actually brighter than the electric quilt. But you have to remember, this is cotton and this is polyester. So it prints differently, and it's also going to feel different. So depending on your purpose and your project, you have to decide what you want. So if you're looking for a super bright and you don't care if it's polyester, then go for the fabric. If you're not looking for something that's super bright and you're happy with these colors, then go for the electric quilt or one of the others that I'm going to show you. So my findings were that the fabric was the most brightest of colors, but again, it is polyester. So that's something to consider. If you're working with cotton fabric and you're going to sew it onto a purse that's also cotton, you may not want that. So these are all factors that come in, and the fabric comes in a fabric art, which is a fabric cardstock, and the fabric soft, which is light and pliable for sewing, and a fabric sticker. One of the things I found actually about the electric quilt one, and I did not mention, they had one that was a peel and stick cotton, and I had trouble with that going through my printer. I tried it twice and it jammed it because it was much thicker. So that's another factor too. Some of the ones that are thicker may not go through your printer. So something to consider, but it's worth trying and see, especially if you want something that sticks, you know, something that you don't have to iron on or sew on, then that's definitely something to consider. So June Taylor, and fabric you can find at fabric.com. Now June Taylor's has a large variety, and they have some that you can sew in, some that you can iron on, some that are color fast, some that are not. So as you can see here, they have a large variety. And one of the things about the June Taylor was a lot of them come in not only white, but they also come in a cream fabric. And not a lot of the other brands have cream. So if you're looking for a softer vintage feel, I would definitely consider the cream. And this is actually one of the cream. I printed this on a cream color. So you get a totally different look with it versus something that is on the white. See, the white is much brighter, whereas the cream gives a more soft vintage kind of feel. So depending on the project you're working on, you may want to consider using the cream, or if you want something a little brighter, then you would want to probably use the white. So these are more factors, but June Taylor was the only one that I found that offered the cream color. So I would definitely check that out, and you can find her at junetaylor.com. So actually, let me just show you this right now. I did take this design and I modified it a little, and I said, well, how cute would that be to take just like a regular picture frame, or you could even do it with an ornate picture frame, something real cute. You can add clay to this, you can paint on it, whatever, and make a cute pin cushion. So all I did was stuff some batting in here, and it's a regular picture frame, as you can see. And then I have an instant little pin cushion that can stand up on my work surface. And you can even consider this something, using this and make one for your wrist, whatever. So that's one of the projects I did do with it. So let's talk a little more about the June Taylor. And like I said, there was a sew-in one. There's a quick fuse, which you would iron on, and a color fast sew-in. So one of the things I did notice on the June Taylor, which I didn't notice on any others, was that this sew-in color fast in particular has a warning on the back. And these are all intended for adult use. They're not intended for children to use. But one of the things it did say was, warning, this product contains a chemical known to the state of California to cause birth defects or other reproductive harm. So basically, if you're pregnant, you should not be using these. So that's something definitely to consider. I have no idea what this chemical is, but you could always contact June Taylor and they could let you know. So that's a consideration. But I did like all of these. They were very bright, as you can see. The colors were very vivid, and there is a wide variety available. And also the June Taylor offers the cream color, which is really nice. So another thing to consider. Now Avery, they have different products. So they not only have printable fabric, but they have t-shirt transfers. So they work a little differently, but I just wanted to show them to you so you had an idea that they were even existence. But the printable fabric was really nice, and I found that it was a little thicker than some of the others. So I am actually using them. We are going to the Craft and Hobby Association show, and we're making aprons, we're making t-shirts, and Kira printed out this on a regular sheet of paper. You know, this is what it actually looked like, but it was on a piece of printable fabric, so the 8.5 by 11, and I just cut it out. So I cut it out. You can see the colors are vivid and they're beautiful. So you don't have to make something that's a square. You know, you can cut it out in any shape you want, so design it in the shape you want, and then just cut it out. Like those little ones are going to eventually be ATCs. So things to consider, that you do not have to keep it a square. You can do whatever you want with it. So anyways, I like the printable fabric. As you can see, it was very bright. Now, they do have the smaller size, which are 4x6 for t-shirts, and they have one if you're using a really dark t-shirt, because sometimes it's hard to get the colors to show up on a dark t-shirt, so they have one for that. And then they have one that's stretchable, so if you have a t-shirt that's really stretchable or whatever, you know how sometimes they'll crack, the designs will crack as you wear it? This is made especially for that. So Avery, you can find it at Avery.com, and one of the awesome things about Avery is they have all kinds of templates and just tons of information on their website. So they're definitely a good source of inspiration. And I actually print my labels from the Avery site. They have so many products. It's definitely worth checking them out. So the next one is, actually there's a huge variety, and these ones also come in these giant rolls too. And this is Blumenthal Craft. And these were also very bright colors, and I actually enjoyed using these as well. Let me just look at my notes. They came in 100% cotton, which you can sew in, and but they also have a silk, which was really nice. I mean, we're talking beautiful here. It was just, the feel was so silky and nice, and let me show you that. This was printed. I don't know if you can detect a little of the sheen to it, but if you're looking for something that's silky, I would definitely go with the silk. I'm not sure how to say that. Silk habite? I'm not sure how to say that, but it's a type of silk. And it is beautiful, and the colors are vibrant and rich. So that's an option that you don't have in some of the other brands. Now they also have cotton twill, cotton poplin, and cotton canvas. So those are different degrees of cotton. Some are a little thicker. And you can see it as you look at it too. This is the cotton twill. I don't know if you can see, it has more texture to it. And then there's the cotton canvas. And let's see which one this one is. This was the cotton poplin. And then they had the cotton canvas in the, no, this is the silk. So we have the silk, and we have the twill, and we have the poplin in these large rolls. So they do offer all kinds of sizes, and that was one thing about the Blumenthal brand. And BlumenthalLansing.com is their website, and you can definitely check it out, and you'll be able to see all this. They had all the details on there. So these rolls are 8.5 by 120, so they can go through your printer. I have not tried them yet because I didn't have a project that I needed something that large for, but if you wanted to do a banner or something, these would be perfect. So things to consider, you know, depending on your project really is what you want to use the right thing for your project. So they did have these 4x6s as well, which again I did not try because I had a problem getting 4x6 into my printer. And they've got the print and sew, you know, they've got all kinds of varieties here, and I'm just in all kinds of different materials, you know, like I said, the different cottons as well as the silk. So they're definitely worth checking out. Let me show you what the cotton twill one looked like. It almost feels, you know, like it feels like a thin denim. So the colors you can see are quite vibrant. Beautiful colors, beautiful feel to it, and these were really nice. I really like these as well. Now there was one last one, and this is Painted Treasures by Milliken, and I have to tell you, they were hard to find their website. I actually purchased this at a local sewing store here, and I want to say I paid about $14.99 or something for 3 sheets, And this was the one I was least impressed with, I have to say. But even though I say that, there are uses for it. See, this one here is very light in coloration. So let me just show you the difference, and you should be able to see that. If you're not, you know, just you take my word for it. But this printed the lightest images out there. And again, this is the Painted Treasures. And actually, let me show you on this one. You can see it's much lighter than some of the others. And that might be good for someone that wants to do a really vintage look. So, you know, it's not something to just say, okay, forget that one, I don't want it, you know. It does have its uses because if you are looking for more muted colors and more of a vintage feel, I could see using this one. But for me, I don't think that I will use it because it's just, I like the vibrant, you know, colors in the other one. So even something that's, you know, vintage, I still want my stuff to be vibrant. So it's just a matter of personal choice. All I'm giving you today is my opinion. So I would say that this was probably my least favorite, and that's the Printed Treasures. And they give a website of printedtreasures.com, but I have to be honest with you, the website did not offer any information hardly at all. So, I mean, I had to really search to find this company, so I don't know what's going on with it, if someone else has taken them over or whatnot, but the information I found was very poor. So, well, all of the other ones that I've showed you today had phenomenal websites, and they're definitely worth going to check out their products, to get an idea of pricing, and all that, again, is on the website of Things Crafty. But I did find that, you know, they all had all the information you needed right there on the website, and they had contact information. So if you want to get in contact with them, if you have any questions, you can do that. Now, one of the things about the printable fabric also is some of them you need to print it, and then you need to wash them after it dries. Like you soak them, not wash with like detergent or anything, but you soak them in water, and that helps to make the whatever extra inks come out of it. So some of them may end up a little lighter because you have to do that. So depending on the brand, depends on what you have to do, and all the instructions are printed on them, plus they're on the website, and plus they're on thingscrafty.com. So overall, I found that all of these ones were pretty much really good quality. The fabric brand was the brightest, but it was also polyester and not cotton. And I found the Painted Treasures to be the least brightest, and that is cotton though. One of the things I really enjoyed was the ones that you could iron on, and that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to iron them onto a t-shirt that we're going to be walking around the CHA show, and I'm going to iron it onto an apron, and I'm ironing it onto cotton is what I'm going to do. I wouldn't recommend ironing onto too many things other than cotton. I think you'll get your best results with that. So think about it, you know, think about how you want to utilize this. I've actually printed out holiday stockings this year. My niece is really into Minecraft, and it's an online computer game that I know nothing about, but she loves it. So I printed it out, the little Minecraft guy, and I ironed it onto a stocking I made her, and I walked in the door with it, and she says, oh my gosh, she says, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so she had something that nobody else ever would have. And that's the greatest thing about the printable fabric, is not only can you print other designs you find around, you know, that you have or on your computer or find around the web, but you can paint your own things, you can take photos, and you can use them for any project you want. Imagine creating your own designs and then adding them to t-shirts or adding them to art journal covers. Just the sky is the limit. So have a ton of fun. Head over to thingscrafty.com to check out the entire comparison, and there'll be some more pictures on there for you to check out. And definitely check out all of the websites of all the companies that I've shown you today. You'll get a lot of information off their websites. So we'll see you next time on Things Crafty.